Live from Los Angeles, this is the Jess Cagle Show with Julia Cunningham, exclusively on SiriusXM Stars.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Jess Cagle Show with Julia Cunningham. Listen to this. Listen to this just a second. I think a lot of people don't know that, you know, America's crush, the world's crush, but a bad crush, Javi, you know, on Ozark, played by Alfonso Herrera. Alfonso, also this gigantic, not just a huge actor in Mexico and around the world, but also was a gigantic pop star, which is fascinating to me. I didn't know it until he agreed to come on the show, and we're so happy to have him. Alfonso Herrera, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Many good memories came to my mind after hearing that song. Thank you.
I know. I mean, obviously your acting career is on fire right now, but is there any part of you that misses touring, screaming teenagers, all of that stuff?
I think the part of traveling so much. I mean, we went to all places in South America. We went to Europe. We toured all over the US also. So I think I missed that part, the part of traveling a lot. And but I mean, right now I am almost 40 years old. I'm a little bit not that much energy, but I think I missed that, specifically that.
So it's funny when you're walking, you're in Los Angeles right now, and you're working, and obviously you've done Sense8 and The Exorcist and a lot of things that American audiences have seen. But I mean, this must have been a game changer playing Javi on Ozark, because people, I'm sure, get excited when they see you and sometimes run the other way, because Javi's a bad guy.
I'll tell you a story. I was on an Uber not so long ago. I was going to an audition. It was like maybe 3 months ago. And I got into the car. And the guy, he picked me up and he said, "Hey, what do you do?" And I said, "Well, I'm an actor." "Oh, yeah? What have you done?" And I was like, "Yeah, the recent thing I just did was Ozark." "Oh, really? What character did you play?" And like, "Javi." He just literally stopped in the freeway, went into the other way, because I said, like, "Man, you have cars right behind us." And then he said, "Please take off your mask. Take off your mask." And I took off my mask, and he started yelling, "I have Javi, I have Javi, I have Javi." And it was a moment of a very peculiar moment in my life. But yeah, people, they are very aware of this show. It's a show that people love because it's so well written, it's so well directed, and obviously Jason Bateman, Laura Linney, Julia, they are just the best actors and the best teammates. And it's a family, and I feel very fortunate to have been part of this family.
Can you talk about that first scene when we first meet Javi, where it's like at this party and Wendy and Marty are there to be celebrated because they just took down this other cartel, and Omar introduces you to them,
yeah.
and it's like, you know, Chicago. Oh, I went to business school in Chicago, and then 20 minutes later, you like kill a cop. It's like, you know, it's so gently introduced to us. It's
a very gentle introduction. Yes.
Yes. And Omar's like, oh, small annoyances bug him. And then he like literally kills a cop like in 2 scenes later or something.
Yeah. Well, there was a funny thing about that scene. When I arrived to set, I remember I saw a donkey painted as a zebra. And I was like, is that a donkey painted as a zebra on a Mexican fiesta? And I was like, well, that's very accurate. And that was interesting. But yeah, as you already said, it's a very subtle introduction in terms of trying to give a very subtle way of trying to present Javi, which is seen to many people as a hot-headed, but at the same time, he wants to prove himself. And he wants to prove the family that he's capable of running the business. There is like a completely new generation and new approach on how that type of businesses are being done. And in a certain way, that's reality.
We should say that Ozark, you know, we saw the first half of the 4th and final season last year. I believe the episode 7 aired in December, and now the final 7 episodes, I believe, are coming back on April 29th, this Friday. And so let's talk a little bit about the mid-season cliffhanger. We can't really say, Julia and I have both seen a little bit of the remaining episodes, but we don't want to give anything away.
We can't give anything away.
Because they haven't aired yet. But
you guys already saw that.
Yeah. So we're not going to give anything away, but let's talk a little bit about the cliffhanger where I want to know first of the scene where you walk in and you have to just gun down these two characters, which are, of course, Wyatt and
Darlene.
And Darlene. He guns down Wyatt and Darlene, which is so shocking to the audience when it happened. Our jaws were on the floor. And so we all remember that scene. What do you remember about filming it?
I remember I arrived to set. There was a very emotional atmosphere because it was the last scene for actually it was the last scene for Darlene's character. And it was emotional because it was saying goodbye to her character. And I remember I arrived to set, I saw her, she hugged me. It was the only scene I had with her.
Yeah.
And I hugged her, and I remember watching her in 2017 when this show started. And I said, I don't know if this is something good or bad, but I just love to share set with you. I just think that what you did in the whole arc of the story was amazing. And it's an honor to be here with you, being part of your arc, of such an important part of your arc.
And did you apologize for...
They're like, sorry.
I'm about to gun you down, shoot you in the head.
I did another interview and there was like some comments about me saying sorry. And that is actually something that I said. I can't remember. I think I said, I don't know if I have to say sorry or I feel so lucky. I don't know what I said. I was like very nervous about that time. And, but yeah, I was very emotional and yeah, the scene was great. Robin directed in an amazing way. But yeah, it was such an emotional day at that time.
I want to go back to the sequence where you shove Marty, played by Jason Bateman, like a rag doll right to the ground. It's so alarming, but it also made me laugh because because he's been, portrayed as such a kind of a tough guy, and he falls right into that side table. He is attacked from behind, but.
By the way, he did his own stunt.
He did.
He did it.
Oh, he did not.
And I was very nervous. I mean, I was like doing that to director, producer, main character.
Oh, he did his own stunt. Yeah. Wow.
Marty Bird, Jason Bateman. So I was actually a bit worried to do that to my boss. Literally. And I was very, very trying to be very careful with Jason, specifically because when you have action scenes where you have to punch or whatever, like these little tiny accidents can happen, and you don't want that to happen with your boss.
The other thing that happened was when the cliffhanger at the end of the first half of the fourth and final season, Julia Garner, Ruth, is going after you. Mm-hmm. She has decided you've killed Wyatt, and she's just gonna go take you down, and that is therefore endangering everybody, and that is the big cliffhanger. And so I don't know that you've actually had a whole lot of scenes with Julia Garner, but you and Julia Garner will be forever married in our minds. And so what is your relationship like with her on the set, or have you even spent that much time with her?
Yes, we spent some time outside from set. I mean, as I already said, we are a family, so we had sometimes an opportunity to see each other outside with a couple of friends in Atlanta. She's great. She's amazing. And I remember she said to me that she was going to Mexico because she was going to a music festival. And in the end, we didn't have the possibility of seeing each other because she went to Mexico, but then I had to travel elsewhere. But she's great. She's fun, and she's an incredible actress. And as you said, it's it was great sharing set with her, and the way she concentrates before entering a scene, before entering to set, it's something amazing, and her character is mind-blowing completely.
You're listening to the Jess Cagle Show with Julia Cunningham. We're here with Alfonso Herrera, who plays Javi on Ozark. So part 2 of season 4, the 4th and final season of Ozark, premieres on Netflix on Friday. And so we don't really want to say anything about what's coming up, but we were just breaking down, the finale with Alfonso. Have you, from what I know, I haven't seen a lot of your movies that you did in Mexico, but I've never seen you play this kind of villain. Was playing a villain like this new for you, or have you done that kind of thing in the past?
Yes, I played some villains back home, but specifically these type of villains, and playing Javi was very fun because he's such an unpredictable guy. And what is cool about this character and this story is that you have the possibility of portraying three-dimensional characters. It's not just like this monochromatic idea of a person. It was very fun to try to see the light and the darkness of this guy. And it's also interesting to see a villain that never lies. He is very straightforward. If he doesn't like you, he will always speak very truthfully and in your face, which is a characteristic in other types of show where the main character, the good guy, he will always speak truthfully. And here in the other end, no one is safe. Everybody's trying to watch for their backs, and he's in a certain way very truthful, speaking very straightforward. And that is something very interesting that I found about this guy.
I'm curious what you feel about this, because I have not seen all the way to the end. So I don't know how Ozark ends, but I've seen some of it. And I said to Jess earlier, I'm hoping that there can be a spin-off of Laura Linney as Wendy and Omar Navarro, the leader of the cartel. Because
Julia wants them to end up together.
I want them to end up together. I feel there's sexual tension there. Maybe it's just me. I'm curious your take.
There is one specific scene where the character of Laura, she's doing something to Omar in his hand. He's like,
yes, yeah.
And when I remember I read this, and then I went to Felix, the actor that plays Omar, and I said to him, "This is a love declaration. This is something that goes beyond the words. This is something that unveils something much more deeper inside." And Felix was like, completely.
Oh,
there was like something inside those words that could have happened, and I
knew it. I felt
I agree.
it. See, because
I
also
felt that too when I read the script.
He says at one point too, where he's like, I'm disappointed in you too, Wendy. I'm disappointed in you, and he says it like hurt. Guys, I'm feeling this.
I don't know if you remember the last lines from that scene that said something about when the lights are off, when nobody's at home, just think on me, think about me, think whatever you want to think, but just be aware that I am here in this planet and that I am thinking of you. It's a love declaration.
Thank you.
That's something. I think that's my perception. That's my perception.
I'd like to apologize to Jason Bateman and Netflix for spoiling the ending
as they ride
off into the sunset. Just a beautiful couple, just sweet,
just to run a cartel together down in Mexico. Yeah.
But Alfonso, I watched last night. There's a movie that has been on my want to see list called Dance of the 41. It's a Mexican film that you did a couple of years ago that is based on it's up on Netflix if anybody wants to watch it. It's a very different kind of character than Javi. Different. Very different, that Alfonso did a couple of years ago. Can you tell us a little bit about who you play in that and the fascinating true story that it's based on?
It's I portrayed Ignacio de la Torre y Mier, who was the son-in-law of the Mexican president Porfirio Diaz, who was one of the most important presidents in this history of Mexico, not because of his importance, but because he was 30 years on power. So he was like the image of power in Mexico at that time was Porfirio Diaz.
This early 1900s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Early 1900s, late 18, yeah. And he was married to Porfirio Diaz's daughter, Amada Diaz, and he was homosexual. So he organized clandestine private parties in Mexico City where many important members from the politics and very important businessmen at that time.
A secret club of elite gay men.
Wow.
Yeah.
Exactly, in Mexico. So it was based on a true story, on something that really occurred. Actually, if you go to Mexico City, you can visit the house where the raid occurred, because on one of those parties, a huge raid occurred. They were taken. Well, I don't want to spoil that, but it's based on a true story. There was a huge raid where they captured most of the men that were on that party, and unfortunately, most of them were sent to concentration camps in Yucatan. That is something that is not presented in film, but was part of history.
Wow. You're currently here in our native Los Angeles filming Rebel Moon. This is a new Zack Snyder film. What can you tell? Is there any information out? Is this a sniper situation where you can't tell us anything, or can you tell us anything about Rebel Moon?
I cannot speak very a lot about it. Otherwise, Netflix would.
I know the snipers.
Have like snipers. Yeah.
You're like, I know. I'm part of Ozark. I can't talk about anything. Yeah.
Yeah, and but I'm super excited. I mean, Zack Snyder is a director that has revolutionized the way we see cinema. Has brought a cultural change in what he has portrayed in his films, and I'm such honored that first of all, Zack invited me to be part of this project, and also this relationship that I have with Netflix. That, I mean, the Dance of the 41 was with Netflix, and Sense8 was with Netflix, being part of Ozark. So there is a very beautiful relationship between us now.
It has been great, and I mean, Javi, one of my favorite villains of all time. Just one,
Amigo, gracias.
One of the best.
On your behalf tonight, believe me.
Alfonso Herrera, the fourth and final season of Ozark resumes on Netflix on Friday, and Alfonso Herrera will be back as Javi, and things happen, but we can't say what. But you're gonna love it. That's all I can say.
No one is safe.
No one is safe. And it is not disappointing. Anyway, thank you, Alfonso. Love having you here.
Likewise. Thank you, guys. Take care.